Wake up with the active face, pop 2 pills with Gatorade, round my neck, yeah, gator face. Might not be a more than a later date, but I don't know. Young Snow, kinda go with the flow, bring her home backstage, tell her tell me everything you know about life, then I bounce. Roxy hitting hard, feeling fucking sick, happen now, just to balance it out. We be blacking out, we be blacking out. Like fucking deeper, I think we be getting out. Glasses up and greener when they crave it like a grouse. We be loving out. And naughty is cracking up, you can let the curtains down now. Yeah. I want up with Taro, ain't no tomorrow, Mr. Golf, I'm sick, I woke up in the gown house.
I just bought 10 Roxy's, call a body dinner. Chronic place with something, I'm like, fuck it, let me. Rolling down your block, it ain't shit for the center. Told that bitch get out my ear, she need a chillin'. Xanax bars up in my drink before I pour 'em. We never fuck with you, fuck boy, don't act like you can. Take that motherfucking bed upside your skull. So full of them drugs, I might throw up, I knew I shouldn't have.
What is up, pimps? It's your boy Cree. And tonight, we have a guest. One of the friends of the show. What's up, Brian? What's up, Brian? Yellow. What is up, Kay? I see you out there in the chat. What you doing? What you doing? Yeah. What's up, D-Saw? All right. Got the cheerleaders in the house, right? There you go, Brian. What's up? All right, so, man, Brian, I called upon you once upon a time ago. I was like, hey, how you feel about coming up, hanging out with us, talking, doing some show stuff? You were like, fuck yeah. So, we finally got you in the studio. Thanks for showing up, man.
You're welcome,
I need
bro.
your help on this episode tonight. Yeah. All right, so this whole month of November, it's kind of been like a dreary one. I hope you all have had a decent Thanksgiving. You know, eat the good food, hang out with the family. But I think it's time to do some follow-ups. What do you think?
Sounds like a good idea, bro.
All right, well, I have been, I listen to YouTube day and night. So anything that comes across the screen, whatever, if I like it or whatever, if it just happens to be in the category of shit, I watch it. Well, somehow I talked myself into watching some old Ryan Leone stuff. And, he had that one damn, I accidentally found this on Thanksgiving. Now, this isn't the first time he's mentioned Mars before, but I was just on one of these series that Ryan talks about, and one of the episodes in the very beginning, he does what they call a monologue. And I was like, oh, hell no. Let me, damn, hang on a second, guys. I don't know what it just pulled up. Anyway, quite some characters, nonetheless. Let's see. This was a gem.
I mean, it's like the drug equivalent of getting butt fucked until you barf. Don't do that. You gotta separate entertainment from real life. Don't. Hey. But Marcel Snow, do not snort Wellbutrin. Do not take me seriously. It's like the drug equivalent of getting butt fucked until you barf. Don't do that. You gotta separate entertainment from real life. Do not snort Wellbutrin. It will not do anything to you. That is a fucking joke. Don't do that. All right, let's get into the story.
So I thought that was a crazy little bonus piece of material. Yeah. I wonder if Mark's even seen that. Okay. Speaking of Mars, you know, there was other characters that came out of the woodwork that would do these pro anti-drug channels. They would do their prison stories. Out of the handful, we had Mars come forward. He made a drug story type channel. And then we had Luke G come forward and do a drug story channel. Now, Luke has been to prison. He has a couple prison stories, but he did not want that to be the basis. He wanted to be clean cut, just like Ryan's, right? Talk about drugs and just drug stories. Well, you know, Karina said a long time ago that sometimes Ryan would fluff his material. And I, in his defense, said, well, he's a writer. I mean, if he's on here, if he writes books and screenplays and movies for a living, how do you not know some of these stories that Ryan's telling you are just that? That's the version of him you're getting. It dawned on me. See, to Ryan, I think his whole YouTube traffic was, this is what you guys get to see before I make it big. All the while, because he prematurely passes away in the middle of his project, him being alive is a very important part of it happening and finishing, right? Well, it never got to get finished. So all we have now is this like B side of like Ryan, which is him doing his stuff on YouTube. Who would have thought maybe that's going to be the legendary totem for Ryan's stuff, aside from the handful of screenplays he wrote and whatnot, you know? So I've been watching a lot of Ryan lately, going back. It's been passing the time. Good stories. But as I was, back to what I was saying, as I listened more and more, that's what I seen what Karina was talking about. I mean, there's no way one man like him could be in the middle of all this shit so much. But bottom line, it makes for a great story. All right, well, after Mars had spawned, I seen Luke G come up. Well, actually, I seen Birdman along the way because somehow his name was near Mars's. And so, of course, I heard about Birdman. We've had him on for an interview before. He's a friend of the show. Then Luke. Luke kind of hit the ground running. He was more, I guess you could say, next to the real deal as far as seeing someone in the middle of their Ryan Leone totem. Like, they have a bigger picture down the road, but you'll never see it because of the usual outcome. So, Luke went on to put on a handful of videos, a successful channel. I mean, I say successful because, hell, he hit the 2K mark. That's nice. I mean, he could have been bigger. Who knows? Had he survived, right? The fight with the addiction is just too much, you know. It's going to win every time, hands down. And we let it. We know what's up. I sympathize with you people. But going overboard, yeah, there's, guys, if you want to be successful, there's got to be a fine line. Like, if you're harping on success and fame and celebratory manners, then you need to take it that serious, okay? Slang word junkie. It is so ugly, and no one wants to have that word tied anywhere to their name as far as legendary status. But, hey, it happens. What I'm getting at is it was a huge spawn of these drug story community channels. I guess it's just more soothing and easier to just tell your business to the world on the camera, right? And people enjoy it. They get a kinship, fellowship. Communities are created, okay? Well, one of the ones I also wanted to bring up tonight, Miss Leah. She was the girlfriend of Luke G. Surviving widow, whatever they call it. Now, the way I was introduced to her was because Luke would have her on her channel sometimes, okay? And I'm not quite sure if she was a YouTuber before Luke was doing it, or was this something that Luke got her to do because he was doing it. And maybe she just didn't mind. Or maybe she has it in her and she wants to be like one of these. But at the time back then, while Luke was rolling, she couldn't quite do it. She just wasn't. But with the untimely passing of Luke, her channel has been given an uptick. And for one, the audience, like, they want to know what happened to Luke, okay? That's some of the things while they're back and they're looking. And, you know, kudos to her. Her channel's growing. I'd watch some things here and there. And, you know, she pretty much lays it out, guys. I mean, could you imagine having such a great tragedy of something that means so much that it causes you to get involved with something like Luke's not around to see her progression on YouTube. He'd be like, yeah, Leah, that's what's up, yeah. You know, I mean, because they're a couple. They both do the YouTube, but I think hers was just she made a channel and maybe just lost and fell out of doing it actively. I don't know. But anyway, she's got a lot of videos she's been posting, and I know a lot of this is on account of, like, she's clearly upset with Luke. I've left a comment or two. Friends of the show's left a comment. You know, it's like everybody's grieving for Luke at once, and this is the one place they can do it. So that's why. But I pretty much told baby girl, I was like, look, I sympathize for your loss because, I mean, shit, it's crazy to lose somebody overnight, to know they're gone forever. Especially in whatever form or however it happens, that's extra terrible. But bottom line, you're not going to see them again, so you're now coping with life every day without them suddenly in it. So, of course, it's going to turn to dramatic. Like, you're going to, like, this was a good thing for her to go to YouTube. If she already had one and wanted to do it, then shit, this is more than a reason, guys. You get to see somebody in action by their example, dealing with it, tolerating it, and then the aftermath, okay? You can't get it much more close to home than that. So this is going to be a good example, but it sounds so cold to say, trust me, you'll get over it. Because I'm not trying to be a dickhead, but that's how it is. Because he's not around, she's going to have to be forced to move on in life and create a new life, and then this will eventually... Once so much time has passed, he will just be a memory and a thing of something that happened to her in the past. But she'll never forget, okay? So I'm not trying to sound harsh with that, Miss Leah, but... And I know it's not going to sound comforting, but... Because you still got some more time. You sure do. But we're going to take a look at some of the videos. I think she started off doing shorts. And some of the editing was all right, you know? So she knows what she's doing. Maybe she's always had it in her. But, I mean... Dealing with the grief, though, I mean, having to finally admit what it was over, what had happened. It's bad news, guys. It feels like crap, man. Like, I see what she means. First day back at work. Shit, I mean, hell. I guess we can start from the top and just go in chronological order because until you know, you know. So, I guess we lost our guest, Brian. Brian might be around. Let's see. Sure, this one for
at a loss of words. I'm not doing so well. I'm not taking this the best. Just wanted to thank everyone who reached out and said something about Lucas, all the kind words and condolences, and I know that Lucas would have really appreciated that, and his YouTube meant a lot to him. His subscribers, I know they meant a lot to him too. He was very passionate about his YouTube videos, and he would spend hours perfecting the videos that he would edit, and spent time making a YouTube studio for him, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, I think Lucas definitely.
Yes, this kind of looks like shell shock, kind of just like the 1,000-yard stare, they call it.
A huge impact on a lot of people in the recovery community, and he always told me that I should maybe share my story and that I should make YouTube videos, and you know, I have a lot of anxiety, and I also struggle with mental health, and so I was like, oh, you should tell your story. And I thought about it, and you know, I never really worked up the courage to do it, but I think that Lucas would really want me to share that with you guys, and to continue to, you know, give back to the recovery community. And I have almost 4 years clean, and I tried my best to help Lucas and support him in any way I could, and was always there for him no matter what. And you know, sometimes it's just not enough, and I realized that, you know, there was really nothing that I could do to change the decisions that he was going to make. I'm still in disbelief. I still think he's coming home. He lived in a sober house that was just a couple blocks from my apartment, and every night before his curfew, you know,
Oh
I'd
shit.
say goodbye, and I'd watch him walk away from my apartment, and he'd be like, call me right when you get home. And usually he wouldn't call. I'd have to call him because he just wasn't good about calling me as much as I called him. So I'd call him every night, and we'd spend at least another half hour to an hour on the phone. And he didn't like talking on the phone that much. He was always hesitant to answer the phone.
Okay, so you see a generalization of what's, you know, okay. Now, that's not quite what I wanted to show you or else look at, but what's up, D-Saw? Hey, man, you're chopping like a motherfucker. All right. Kick you backstage for a second. Anyway. Days go by, guys. This thing hasn't changed. It's just, you see the decline. Like, I hate to see this.
Hi everyone. Can't believe that it's already been a week since Lucas has passed. It's been one of the hardest, well, no, the hardest week that I've had to go through. I'm having a really hard time with everything. Eating, sleeping, letting my dog out. Everything is so hard. And I'm trying to be strong. These videos are really hard to make. And I'm not exactly sure what to even say. I'm at a loss of words still to this day, and I'm trying to do the most that I can. I just wish that I could have done something differently and helped him a little bit more. He wanted space, and I gave him that. And looking back, I realized why he wanted space.
This video's kind of old.
sadly, I think that that was because he was using, and I didn't want to believe it. He never would admit that he was, and I could just tell something was off, and I really wish that I would have reached out or said something to someone. I have to realize that there's nothing that I could have done to stop this. You know, I just should have watched for those signs, those warning signs. And that week he was talking about, you know, how he felt like using, and
See, there was talks of it. So you've watched so many stages so far. The first video we played, that was like the look of shock, like the denial. You can't believe it. The second one, you notice how it's kind of repetitive. It's kind of like a, man, I wished if I could go back in time, I would do this or that.
I just tried to tell him, you know, like it's not worth it, and you've come so far, and you know, you have a job, you just got a car, and like what?
Think about it. She's the one pleading with him week prior. Just don't do this, please. Do any fucking thing. You know this is a no-no. You ain't supposed to be doing this, please. I love you. I'm telling you, please don't do it for me at least. Do you even care that much? I'm sure he did, but I mean, damn, the drugs are that strong, guys. They're that powerful.
What would be the point to give up now?
And then it happens, and then you're left alive to get on with life and beat yourself up over it. The person you were worried about ain't here to worry about it no more.
I'm so sad that
Look at what fucking drugs do to families, lifestyles, man. What the?
this happened, and there's still so many questions, and there's so many questions that I have, and
Like, how do you fill this open void in my heart now?
you know, I'm trying to accept that I may never get the answers to certain things. And you know, the last day that we were able to hang out, we went to one of our favorite Mexican restaurants, and
Had a nice last date.
after that we went and took care of some dogs that I was watching at the time. It's just crazy looking back,
Yeah.
like
She's a fighter,
not
man.
knowing that that was the last time that we would hang out. And you know, I just wish that there was something that I could have said or told him that it's gonna be okay. And you know, I'm sure that I did say.
Boom. There you go. I just said it, right? But you know, Leah, the ugly underlining truth is you would have, even if Luke would have lived a week longer past that, this still would have been the same recurring fight week after week, month after month, until one of two things happened. Complete sobriety or death.
Say that it's just, addiction is so powerful.
So guys, don't beat yourself up on what if, because that what if is going to restart every opportunity that choice comes up.
It takes control of your thinking, and
That's right.
totally like blocks out the good in life sometimes, and you kind of forget what you have right in
It kills your conscience.
front of you. And I think, you know, despite everything going well for Lucas, his addiction was more powerful. He was doing so well, and this was so unexpected. I never would have thought that I would be in this position, along with so many others as family and friends.
Sorry for you, baby girl. I hate that you have to repeat these words to a camera. I mean,
Like, no one saw this coming, and it's just,
and that was another thing that got me. No one saw this coming. I was like, man, that shit hit home right there. Because, I mean, you really never do.
I'm
Yeah.
having a hard time finding something positive out of this. I know Lucas wouldn't want me to be here sad and depressed and stuck inside, and I'm trying my hardest to do what's best for me. And these videos probably don't even make sense. Like, I'd be like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I just.
See, look how much grief and sorrow is put on this young girl. Now, she's going to heal. Time's going to pass, and down the road, she's going to be over this to a degree. She'll never forget him. Whatever kind of love she had, she'll never lose that. But unfortunately, this is what I said, guys. Don't become an example. Like, messing around with that strong opioid stuff, man, that's when you're playing with your life, dude. You going to have your family members all upset on the internet fucking whining over you? Like, man, that's terrible. She's got a lot of strength. I do commend her for having that kind of strength, dude, because even though Luke never forced her on the camera and she's not like a camera identity, that took a lot of courage, even through these times. Like, she's reached for help, guys. Be that true friend that y'all say y'all wished y'all could have did if they were still around. Be that friend now. Extend your open arms to this girl. Give her a warm welcome. Tell her how much you miss Luke and liked him too. I mean, help her grieve, guys. She is putting on, this is some strong stuff, and it just wears on you psychologically. Like, it takes so much out of you. Like, let's see.
Hi everyone. Today I went back to work. It was my first day back at work since Lucas has passed. It was a terrible day. It was so hard to get out of bed and
not a month ago.
To get ready and go to work and be around people. And although I do feel a little better going to work today, I was trying to get it covered, but I didn't have any luck with that, so I was forced to go in on Sunday this weekend, and I will be doing celebrate him. I am really not sure how I am going to go back to work.
It's like we're stuck here having to walk around and deal with this grief, man. We're the ones that have to deal with this now, you know.
Really struggling with the fact that I have to go back at some point. I just don't want to. And I know that I need to for myself to move on and, can be done with classes in December, rounds, some paperwork, and I've always been interested in the nursing side of a treatment center, like a medication.
So that's something you could bank on. Place your focuses in that avenue. It'll occupy your time.
Aide or someone who passes meds or just, doing intakes and stuff like that. I took a break from working in a treatment center earlier this year. I quit my most recent job at the treatment center in, I believe, April of this year, and I truly miss it. I really do miss working in a treatment center, and I think with my degree that could help me, get a job or a position that I really do enjoy. Not to say that I didn't enjoy being a technician, but I like more of the medical side of things. School has been a really good distraction for me through all of this, because I don't want to give up. I want to keep pushing through to reach my goal to finish college.
Yes.
And to possibly, work in a treatment center again someday to continue.
I don't know, man. I mean, I can see that being a first passion, but having a loved one pass away and then you yourself was still struggling, fighting, I don't know. I just want to be done with it. I want to be away from it.
Helping others, which is my biggest passion, to help. This, I'm a very, if I want something, I want it now, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to, be successful or accomplish a goal that I've set. And he knows that I'm always go, 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 and always making lists. And
there you go. See, it sounds like she's got a good head on her shoulders.
I'm a very organized person, and lately I have not. So that's been something that's also been hard for me to do lately, is to stay.
Dude, if I found out she had relapsed because of this whole ordeal, she's so upset. I'd be upset with you, Leah. Don't you turn to drugs. Don't let this be an excuse. We don't even know how you were compared to him as far as the monster of addiction.
Prioritized, but I think for the most part I've been doing pretty well with all that. I think the biggest thing for me was just getting back to work, which is still really hard. But I think as the days go on, it'll get easier. So that's
Easy to say, but hard to do, man. I tell you what. We watched one, man. Bless her heart, dude. She might have removed it. I'm not sure, but let's see.
have my family and my friends. Hello. So I officially made it through 3 days of work. It was brutal. I'm not gonna lie. Even though this is my life now, I'm having a really hard time accepting that still. And I know it's gonna be a long road to feeling better. And I do believe that I won't ever be the same person that I was when Lucas was here. It'll always feel like a part of me is missing something. I really need to find some sort of grief group to go to because I'm having a really hard time dealing with this on my own. Yeah, I have my family and my friends to support me, but they can only be here. It's created. And I had been meaning to buy one when he had first made them, but I just didn't have enough money. But I finally bought one, and I'm wearing it right now.
Oh, he's got the shirt.
But
Look, okay, y'all remember when I was cracking them jokes saying, oh, we're going to do drugs and have a channel about, quitting drugs, but we're buying them, but we're making t-shirts. These are the ones. See that trademark Grand Theft Auto font? It says Fent kills. Neuron saves. Oh, Narcan saves. Okay. And then some kind of something down here. Oh, it's a Narcan sprayer.
this is the one that I got.
But the irony is, like the same t-shirt that you protested to put in rotation, put in production. It's a product of the very thing that killed you in the end.
And it turned out so good. I'm really proud of that.
This is just all the way bad.
And I just want him to know that he was so good at what he did. And I miss that. I miss having him around and having him help me with my YouTube titles. He would always help me come up with something creative, and I was always terrible at coming up with a title for a video, and he'd be like, well, just let me do it. But anyways, I was really happy to get this, but also really sad because he's not here to see this awesome shirt that he created. I've been kind of doing some research.
I mean, did he ever sell any of those? Because when his channel became monetized, of course you can go to other websites and have t-shirts. I mean, it's literally free to go upload a picture to an account, and then fans can order the shirts, right? But Luke never got himself a shirt. Every shirt I've ever made, I've got myself a copy or two.
About the whole grief process.
Did any of you Luke G fans out there buy a shirt? If somebody bought a shirt, if you want, because I'm really reaching for this, let's see. I'm going to post something in the community that says, if you bought a Luke G t-shirt off of his YouTube channel site thing, can you post a picture down below, and we'll show it here. Yeah, but she ordered one. They look kind of alright, I guess.
And the stages of grief. I feel like
He had some designs,
all these
quite a handful.
Stages, I can relate to each of them. The first one being denial, that first day when I...
Now she could do some what? R.I.P. Luke G's in the Grand Theft Auto font? No, I can't do that. No.
I got that phone call at 4 in the morning, or it was 4:03 to be exact. I just kept saying this can't be real, this is a mistake, he's still here, I know he's still here, he can't be gone, this can't be happening, this can't be true. And even the following days after the phone call, I still was in disbelief. I thought he was still out there somewhere, just waiting for him to come home. And, I still some days wake up maybe he is still here. And I know in my heart that he's not here, but that's what my heart wants to think. It wants to think that he's gonna come home. I'm still in such a shock. I just still can't come to terms where this is the reality of my life now, not having Lucas here. The second stage is anger. I have been really angry at times. I'll be talking to him at night, saying things like, you should be here, why aren't you here, why did you leave me, or you were supposed to still be here, we were supposed to have our spa night, we were supposed to be planning Thanksgiving, and just angry at him for not telling me what was going on. I just wish that he could have been honest with me and just told me how he was feeling. I really wish that he would have done that. And I just feel like I'm angry at the world. Like, it's so hard for me to put a smile on my face and just pretend that I'm okay. And then when I do smile or feel a little bit better, I feel guilty about that. I feel like I'm not supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be sad. Like, I just lost my best friend. How can I be happy?
Leah, stop. It's not selfish if you go, you know what, can I just take my mind off of it for 10 minutes at least? This is consuming my day and night, sleep, wake, anything. It's okay if you want to just like forget it all happened for 5 fucking minutes. If it gives you any peace of mind. As hard as it is, shit, there was times when I was grieving, I was like, can something please take my mind off of it for at least 30 fucking minutes?
I'm feeling any better since Lucas passed, but it kind of does feel good to go back to work. It is still really hard to like focus on anything because certain memories will pop up in my head, or I'll just all of a sudden think of Lucas and be like, wow, he's gone and this is my life now. I'm having a really hard time accepting that still, and I know it's going to be a long road to feeling better, and I do believe that I won't ever be the same person that I was when Lucas was here. It'll always feel like a part of me is missing something. I really need to find some sort of grief group to go to because I'm having a really hard time dealing with this on my own. Yeah, I have my family and my friends to support me, but they can only be here, so often. I'm really struggling with buy one when he had first made them, but I just didn't have enough buy one created. And I had been meaning to buy one when he had first made them.
Yeah, where the hell's Brian? Brian, you out in the chat?
But I finally bought one, and I'm wearing it right now. It's kind of hard to see, but
Sean, you entered it, repeat.
this is the one. And just angry at
Okay.
every day, but it should still be here. Another thing.
Alright. Now we're getting close to the ones. Yeah.
Some friends about it. Everyone, I know it's kind of weird. I am making a video while I'm laying in bed, but I just cannot get out of bed right now. I have had a rough past 2 days. I had been having some really dark thoughts, and I feel like talking about this might help. I was having some really bad thoughts, just like I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to move on with life, and I was talking to some friends about it. One of them was really concerned. I was at home, 2 cops knocked on my door, and they were doing a welfare check on me.
Wellness check.
As soon as they came in, I just kind of broke down, like, why is this happening to me? Why? I didn't truly mean that. I just was super emotional, and I would never want to not be here anymore, but I feel like, I guess I don't know if this is normal for people who are grieving to have thoughts of suicide, but that was something that kind of crossed my mind, like, maybe I don't want to be here. Once those cops came in, I just broke down, and it was really an eye-opener for me because I want to live. I want to see what the future has for me. I want to get through this to become a stronger person, and that's what I'm going to do. After all that happened, I felt better. I was like, okay, I can do this. I need to stop the negative thinking. And for a few days, I was okay. Last night, I was hanging out with a few friends. I was just having a deep conversation. I got very emotional, and I started talking about, not wanting to be here anymore. My best friend was really concerned about me. She was outside smoking a cigarette, and came back in and was
Man,
just
this
like,
shit
yeah,
fucking-
I have a cop
This shit wears on you, man.
coming here to talk to you because they, you know, didn't want anything bad to happen to me, and I don't want anything bad to happen to me either. Basically, another cop comes to my friend's house and they talk to me for a little bit. It's just like, it's really embarrassing that I even think like that or have thought like that since Lucas passed, because I still have so much more life to live. Like, why am I thinking like this? I really need to get out of this funk and just, I don't know. I really don't know what I need to do. I do need help. I am working on figuring out a plan as to what I need to do. Animals, I should be already in bed, so it was a really long night for me. I didn't get home until...
Yeah, there was a few times her and Luke, Luke would come on the show and they'd be in bed for the night, but he would just have the phone on like, oh, you know. So yeah, we've all had a chance to kick it live, man. And now that, you know, he's not around, she has to find something to do with herself because, I mean, you got to pick up new hobbies and something. I mean,
I just was pretty much...
Keep it together, Leah.
And I just need to learn how to cope with those feelings that I'm having at that time. So to lose friends in a way. I have a small circle of friends, and, you know...
So I'm wondering if this is starting to become like a journal. Like, this is going to be like a video virtual journal of the process. I like it. I like the whole thesis of it.
For the most part, everyone has been super supportive, being that it has been a month now today that Lucas has been gone. They're probably sick of me talking about being depressed and sad, and I am trying to stop talking like that.
Yeah, see, so it's like a 2-for-1 package, Kay. You get to see the other side of Luke's show from a different perspective.
And just try to be myself again, but it's really hard. I'm not gonna lie. And one thing that they might not understand is that I'm not the same person that I used to be, but I truly am trying to be somewhat normal around my friends, which can be super hard when you have all these thoughts racing through your head and still have all these questions. It's really hard to be in the moment. I kind of feel like I've pushed away some of my friends, and it does hurt because that's not what my intentions are. You know, I want to stay friends with all my friends, and it just kind of feels like as I'm going through this whole process, like it feels like my circle is getting smaller, but at the same time I don't think that that's actually what's going on. It's just my overthinking, and you know, I also have to understand and keep things, and I had to be around people 24/7. But I'm learning that, you know, alone.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. That's what's been going on with the whole Luke G situation. Once again, RIP to Luke. He was a real one. Air quotes, what they'd say. Let this be a lesson. If you love your loved ones, try to do anything but the opposite of what, you know can happen. Anyway, it was cool how we had bumped into an old Ryan Leone. Did you guys see that Ryan Leone, the guy from Software Underbelly, he actually he made a compilation video of all these people that have now passed on. And would you believe Ryan came up in there? Like, he was like number 4 or 5 or something like that. I thought that was kind of, but the crazy thing is I had been rewatching Ryan's stuff like a week or 2 prior because of the shit with Luke. Like, it wasn't immediately after Luke's passing, but some time had passed because, I got tired of watching all the mob stuff. There's plenty of it. I've seen it all. I was like, how about some good old-fashioned Ryan Leone? And so it wasn't until I started, watching, keeping eyes on the channel again, I noticed there was some activity from Karina. She actually, I think this was some of the stuff that was on Patreon and is now up for public consumption. Not sure if you all caught it, but she has a couple videos about some of the stuff. Here's the one that I was talking about in that one video. I said I wished I had recorded it just in case it was away. Well, who would have thunk down the road it's put back up. So this is Ryan's last video, and like Karina says, it's kind of like his last will and testament. I guess before he went out the door, he wanted to go ahead and lay out the business in. Ryan's final video, guys.
So all of our money is in Bitcoin. It's in my Coinbase wallet. You can only access it from my device, from my phone, not another phone that I used to have. It has to be my current phone. If you say forgot password, the only 2 email addresses I have are Ryan Leone 85 and Ryan Leone 313. I'm not sure which one's connected to legal. Whatever. But okay, so there's around $5,000 left in there. PayPal is the same thing. I have like almost 2,000 in there. I have like around $7,000 that you can have. You have to pay Bob $3,000 for rent. And then Seth's been trying to have me send him all this footage and stuff for the 3rd act. What I suggest is,
Oh, my bad, guys. We were muted. I want to give a shout out to KC for that $3 donation to the channel. RIP Ryan, RIP Luke. This is the last vid. Here we go.
You honor my points by giving them my family and all of the stuff that I'm supposed to send to Avery is all on my cell phone. So we can just send the cell phone to Avery. You can get them back. Brian Winner.
Look at him, man. This is what I was talking about in that one video I made. I said it didn't look like him. It didn't sound like him. This is just not the typical Ryan we know.
He's suicidal. He's doing the score. We haven't paid him, but to pay him $10,000. He's watched the material hundreds of times. He knows my life better than I do.
Hey, come on, we gotta get you.
He's fully invested in the film. The last thing that we have to do is pay him, and I owe Avery I think $1,000, but fuck Avery. I don't want him to get any money. I want Seth. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Did you hear what he said about Avery? I when I was going back listening to some of his catalog, that dude's name came up a long time ago. Ryan had to put together this team that would handle the emails, the packages being mailed, all the paperwork, you know what I mean? But that's crazy how their friendship, I guess something went sour somewhere. But he mentions them here in his last video.
With 17 of his own money, make sure that Seth gets paid back, and then I want all the money to go to Karina. And then, my royalties have them go to Karina and Nico Island. That's it.
And that's it. And then moments later, his Lyft driver appears to cart him off to the hospital, where hours later he will pass away. I see you, Korea. I see you, Karina. So she went ahead and put the last day vid up. Now this was I got to hear this for the first time weeks ago. Let's check this out. This is her side
Confidence
of
and get into the groove of things. But also it's I'm sharing a lot of personal Hey guys, so it's Thursday afternoon and gonna get into the last day I saw Ryan alive, which was Friday, July 1st. And first I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for the love and support on this. I couldn't do this without you guys. The kind words of encouragement really do help, so I appreciate it. And like I said, this is hard for me to do. I'm nervous, it's I'm not used to doing something like this, and I'm sure as I go I'll get my confidence and get into the groove of things. But also it's I'm sharing a lot of personal deep, situations that happen in our personal lives. So it's not easy. I'm putting it all out there for you guys. And anyway, I just want to say thank you so much. And I'm not going to get into a super long monologue. I know Ryan used to do those, but I honestly don't have time for those. Like, I'm helping Nico to the side, opening yogurt for him. So anyway, I don't have time like that. Time's limited. Wyland's napping right now, and Nico's right here. So anyway, let's get into it. And we'll just keep them short and sweet, and just keep busting them out, okay? So, last day I saw Ryan was, you know, the 1st, and I woke up at my usual time, which was around 6 a.m., and Ryan had been in the kitchen. Ever since we moved into the Northridge house, he hardly slept in our room, our bed. He would sleep on the couch, or I find him passed out outside in the garage, like random places, you know? So anyway, he was asleep in the kitchen, and he had been having breathing problems for about a month at this point. It started in early June, and he had been in and out of ERs all week. And he walked out of every single one of them without getting full treatment. I mean, he would go there and sit there for hours, and Los Angeles is a very populated city. It's crowded, and if you don't have the best insurance, it's gonna take a while for them to see you and for you to get treatment. So he pretty much get frustrated over it and give up and leave. You know, he didn't want to just sit there, you know, how he was. And anyway, so for some reason, you know, with this breathing problem, it gave him relief to stick his head in our freezer. He would literally stick like his whole upper body like this as much as he could in the freezer. And I mean, sometimes he'd be passed out for hours in there. I would find him, you know, in the morning, and there'd be water, you know, everywhere, like ice melted or popsicles that melted. I'd throw out, you know, meat because it's spoiled. It was just, I don't know. He got some relief from the coolness, I guess. And that's how I found him that morning. He'd been hanging out of the freezer. So I walked into the kitchen and made my usual morning coffee like I always did. And, you know, that woke him up, and he just immediately starts complaining about his breathing. I can't breathe. I'm having trouble breathing. And at this point, we were doing this almost every day. And it's like, okay, but you keep leaving the hospital. You can't do that. You're going to have to sit there until you get full treatment. And they tell you what's going on with you. They don't do anything. They judge me. I'm an addict. You know, they don't give a crap. Sorry, I'm gonna have to watch what I say because I do want these to eventually go on YouTube, and I don't think you can curse on there. So anyway, he said they don't give a crap, and he was over it. So anyway, he was, you know, asking for me to help him find an inhaler. He had these asthma inhalers that, you know, people would give him who had prescriptions for them, and we couldn't find them anywhere. I mean, one that had anything left, I should say, because he had tons of empty ones scattered like in drawers in his room, in his pockets. You know, he had asthma inhalers like he had lighters. It was just Nico. So anyway, we couldn't find one that had anything in it. He would try, and there's nothing. And he was, you know, getting more stressed and frustrated and angry. And he, you know, was asking me to help him get one or to call so-and-so to get one. And he was texting people, calling people, but no one was responding. So it was still early in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. Anyway, so I was looking on DoorDash to see if, you know, Walgreens or CVS could deliver one. You could get, you know, not the less stronger ones over the counter. And, you know, I saw that they're out of stock and you could order them and they could ship them, but it would take like 3 days, and that wasn't an option. So it suggested these like boost canisters that people use when they go hiking in high altitudes. And it gives you, I guess, some kind of relief with, you know, if you're struggling to breathe on these hikes.
Did y'all hear that part back there about him dunking his body in the freezer? Man, I didn't know about that. I must have missed that part of the video somewhere.
So I suggested that, and he said anything. So, you know, ordered.
I wonder if he accidentally like choked out some vessels or arteries while doing that. Like, I'm sure, like she says, he was getting relief, but I mean,
a couple of those, and they came.
I mean, was he like upside down hanging into it? Like that means all your blood flow will be going to your head and everything, dude. Like,
You know, delivered to our door, and he tried those out, and it helped a little. You know, he was like, it helps, it helps. So he seemed like, you know, it was like he was okay for a little bit, but it didn't.
no, DG. In this next video, she's going to tell us about like what happened at the hospital. She can't go into great details about certain things about what was said to the nurses and the doctors and all that, but basically he was having trouble breathing for days on end. I think leaning halfway into a freezer for hours on end to the point to where food's melting and spoiling, that's too much time lifted up over your head. You know what I mean? It was probably circulate. I mean, he was probably, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I would have just got like some super cold AC unit kind of thing and just had it blow directly on me. I mean, I wouldn't have leaned in over my head like that. I mean,
Last that long.
it could have gave some complications. Who knows?
And, you know, I said, well, you know, are you going to go to another ER? Are you going to go to the doctor? Like, what are we going to do? How can you live this way? I don't understand why you're putting yourself through this. You're going to have to sit there
You're about to
until they
find
see
out.
you. And, you know, he was agreeing because the day before we went to, I actually drove him. I mean, I was at that point like, screw it, whatever. Like, I'd been driving anyway the last, you know, probably since like, I'd say mid-May, because I just didn't trust him to drive. Even though he would tell me he was sober, like he was acting weird, and I didn't trust him. And, you know, he eventually would agree, like, I can't drive, you drive. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I was driving dirty, you could say, but I'd rather us be safe than not. So whatever. And I drove him to an ER the day before, and that was in, I want to say Simi Valley. Yes, Simi Valley. And we were there for like 5 hours, and, you know, again, he gave up and told me, well, I'll go to the ER in Santa Barbara tonight because they'll probably see me a lot faster. There's a lot less people in Santa Barbara, so I'll do that, I promise. And he didn't end up doing that. And that's a story for another time.
Kinda
It was
okay.
interesting, that
She sort of does. She gets to the gist of it, but
ER trip, what happened. I'll go into that some other day. But also the car ride home, something really gnarly happened. Like gnarly and funny at the same time, I guess. I don't know. But we'll talk about that another day. So anyway, he, you know, was like, I said, well, you didn't go to the ER last night, so what are you gonna do? Do you need me to take you to another ER? Like, what do you want to do? He was like, I don't know. Right now, I need more sleep. So I'm gonna go sleep and then we'll figure it out. So he went to go sleep for about another 2-3 hours, and he eventually woke up. Sorry, I'm opening yogurts here on the side. He woke up, and at that point it was like 10 a.m. And he had to go dose at the methadone clinic by 1 p.m.
so there's that. He went and got a dose from the methadone clinic.
So he, you know, was up and he was planning to go do that. And he was just, you know, immediately complaining about the breathing. And it really was just hard to see him going through this and not taking care of himself or doing anything about it. It was so frustrating, you know, and I'd reached out to several people about it, and, you know, we'd all try to get him to get help. And if you know Ryan, you know he is not going to do what he doesn't want to do if he's forced. Unless he wants to do it, he's not going to do it. He's stubborn, and it's going to be his way, and that's it. So anyway, he actually like kind of had a plan. He said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go dose at the methadone clinic. And then from there, I'm going to have them call an ambulance. I was like, wow, he's actually taking this serious, because I was saying, let's just call an ambulance right now. And he was like, no, we're not. No, an ambulance is not coming to our house. So, okay, why don't we go down the block and we'll sit on the corner. I'll sit there with you. No, we're not. Again, it was going to be the way he wanted. So he said he would have them call him an ambulance after he dosed, and that would be it. But also, he didn't want me to drive him. He wanted to take a lift, and he was going to leave the cars there, and he left the keys with me, which he had never done. He'd never left the keys or the car, really. I mean, he would always take his car and leave the keys with me just in case. Like, I don't know. That was just really weird. But that's what he wanted to do, and I wasn't going to fight him on that, because I felt like he was finally going to go and sit out of hospital and do it.
What's up, Al?
And he, was serious, and he was going to call.
We're just recapping the last vids of, last few days of Ryan.
I'll have them call an ambulance, which I've been wanting him to do for weeks now. And I was like, okay, let's get you going. I'll call you the lift. What do you need? Like, what do you need me to help you?
Adam, what's up, Adam?
And he said, okay, you need to help me pack my backpack. And so we were doing that. He was grabbing books, socks, his usual stuff, and whatever drugs he was bringing. At
Did you hear that? Whatever drugs he was bringing. It's going to tie into the next video.
that point, I thought he was just doing fentanyl and maybe some Xanax or something, which you're not even supposed to mix that with the methadone. Like, already, a lot of us were telling him, you need to stop, like, you need help. And that combo enough can kill you, because of the high dose of methadone he was on. And, who knows the fentanyl amounts he...
DG brought up a good comment. He says, addicts want to be in control of everything. Can you expound upon that? Just the same way as the drugs control the addict. For sure, hands down, them drugs are going to be coming first. They're going to be hands down, in place, in plan, on file for the day. Like when he had to go do the methadone doses. When you're on the methadone daily like that, you got to go, or else you're going to be sick. And plus the addict in you, you just need it. There's just this chemical that will never stop, okay? Once it becomes ingrained in your pattern, routines, it's your life. It's going to have some kind of ruling or bearing, above all, once it becomes that important.
He was doing. I mean, only he really, truly knows. But also...
Yeah.
I guess there were other drugs he was doing that I didn't know about until he passed away. And again, this will all tie in, and we'll get to that another day. So we packed his backpack, and he packed his backpack, and I said, okay, let me get you the lift, because I had to do it. He was banned from Lyft and Uber at that point. So I, was going to...
Banned from Uber and Lyft. Ryan, what could you have done that was so bad where your account is kicked off?
Get him the lift, and he said, wait, I need you to record me. I said, Ryan, now's not the time to do this, because he really wanted to start doing content, but I think he just was so ashamed and hated how he looked, and he just was so far gone, he couldn't do it. Like, he couldn't, I know he tried a couple of times, and he'd get frustrated and just be over it. And, I thought, okay, he's going to try and do some kind of video, And he said... You
got some vids out, Gore?
Complain.
We'll stop by and check them out real quick. Hang on, let me go see. I'll throw you a sub. Let's see.
Come on, let's just get you... Yes, honey, Times Square. Let's just get you going. And, okay, hold on just a second. Okay, I'm going to pause right here, and then I'm going to start back up in a second. But I know we're leaving off. Give me just a second, because I hear Wyland crying, so I have to make him a bottle. I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Confidence and get into the group.
This is the other video. Hang on. All right, let me see. That might be the part 2. I'm thinking maybe she has these in good, decent order.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that, but see, that's what I mean. I'm on their time, and I'm just gonna keep going. So I apologize. Hopefully that won't happen often.
Yeah,
and again,
I can't find your thing,
as we get
man.
this going, I'll get a better routine, especially once we get Nico in a school out here. I can do this while he's at school instead of commuting an hour away and killing 3 hours, waiting for him to get out of school and then commuting back. So that should be all happening in January. We're working on that. So the schedule will get better as we go. And, if we do actually start making a steady income from this, I'll just hire a babysitter. And she can watch them for, an hour or two while I do this in the other room. So I'll figure it out as I go. And again, bear with me, and I'm so sorry about that. And Wylan hardly ever wakes up during his nap. So, of course. But anyway, let's get back into it. So we were getting Ryan the lift, and he asked me to record him. And, I was like, oh my gosh, let's just get you going. Like, come on, no time for that. And I said, it's not time to do a video, let's go. And he's like, no, it's not, I'm not doing that. You need to record me right now. And he was serious, so
And that's that video we just got to watching when it was like his last will and testament on vid.
I wasn't gonna fight him on it. So I recorded him with my phone. And that's the video you guys saw. That was him, and he basically,
Yeah, Al, I can't find your channel, man. If you want to, go to pick up one of my community posts and drop a link to your channel, and I'll stop by and give it a sub and
it's just,
check it out, man.
I don't know, it was kind of like a mini will, or telling me important stuff that I needed to know.
Adam
something
somebody.
happened to him. And
Hook
even
me up.
prior to this happening, that week, he started saying it more and more. I feel like something bad's gonna happen. I feel like I'm gonna die. I don't want to lose my family, And he would actually he would cry. And it was
Yes,
just happening.
that's exactly
more
right,
and more.
DG.
So, I don't know if when your time comes, you just feel it. But it seemed
That's when I was like, he knew.
like he kind of was feeling that it was coming.
Okay.
So anyway, I record him, and that's the video you saw. And by that point, the lift was almost there. And, I could just tell he was sad, and he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go to the ER, but he felt like he had to. And, the lift pulls up, and, it's like, okay, bye, because at that point also our relationship wasn't doing the best. We've been fighting a lot. I mean, we were getting along kind of at that point, but, I just was getting so frustrated with him not being sober and, telling me he was going to get treatment and then not doing it. He'd say he was going to a detox or he was going to go do this or that. And it just was like he wouldn't do it when the time came to do it. And it just was hard for me to want to be close to him. I was so frustrated at that point,
So she admits they were fighting in the days prior. Like, they wasn't doing good, guys. They wasn't on good terms. He was feeling like shit, doing weird shit, and it was kind of like a pretty dark ending, man. Shit.
Again, with addiction, I know it wasn't his fault,
Yeah.
and I would tell him that, but it was
Yeah, I
his
threw you
fault
a
that
sub,
he
Al. We're going to check out your
didn't want
stuff.
to go get help for himself and his children. I would tell him that, your children need you. You got to fight for your life. And so anyway, usually when he would leave the house, I guess my point is, usually when he would leave the house, he would just go, and it's not like I'd be like, okay, see you later, honey, and give him a hug and a kiss.
It's like, bye.
But for some reason, that day, there was a strong urge in me to want to give him a hug. And he was, okay, bye. So I said, wait. I'm like, come here. And I said, give me a hug. And we're hugging, and, and I just feel this really strong emotion. And I tell him, I'm sad, and I'm at this point starting to cry. and he says, I'm sad too, you know? And we hug each other, and it felt loving, and it felt sweet. And, you know, he pretty much tells me, I'm gonna get better, we're gonna fight this. And I said, okay, I love you. You know, let me know what's going on. And that was pretty much it. And he walked out the door. You know, kept looking back the whole time.
Isn't that crazy, guys? There's going to be a day where you walk out your house and you don't walk back in it ever again. Ugh.
Just looks so...
I've always said, please, God, if I'm going to die, please don't let it be in a work uniform. Please, anything but that.
Such a long face, you know, and looking back at his house and me and the kids, and he, you know, gets in the car, and that's the last time I ever saw Ryan alive.
Oh, man. Is she taking notes from Ryan? I'm telling you, this is Ryan in spirit, guys. This is good.
And I'll never forget, you know, that image, you know, the last time I saw him looking back at me. I'll never forget that. Sorry, as I talk about this, that hurts my heart, makes me sad.
Yeah, it's been over a year, man. It's been over a year, but it still feels fresh. It feels like a fresh open wound.
But anyway, like I said, this isn't gonna be easy, but you know, I'm gonna let you guys.
Yes, Adam, and we're gonna get to something. We're gonna get to something that dispels some rumors from once upon a time ago. Whenever Ryan passed away, there was a lot of people speculating, saying, oh, he OD'd, or he did it in the hospital bathroom, and there was people saying, no, fuck you, that's not true, blah, blah, blah. No, it all ties together, dude. Some of the rumors were not lies, you know? Hang on.
You guys know what happened, and I'm gonna try my best. So, anyway, I appreciate you guys and being understanding, especially being, you know, a mama of the boys and how they're very demanding and needy. But anyway, so we'll continue in the next story. Basically what happened once he got to the methadone clinic and once he got to the Sun Valley ER. So
look, she's had to have heard Ryan talking for hours in the next room. This is how he made his money. This is how he brought home the bread and butter.
we'll go into that part next. And I will try to do that. I'm not sure if I
He still fucks me up with some of his cliffhangers. I love him.
have time tomorrow or Saturday. I was thinking maybe Saturday because my sister is coming into town, my baby sister, to come visit me and my older sister who live up here.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, she goes to the next one. And then boom, here we go, guys. I hope you brought a snack.
Guys, so it's Tuesday afternoon, and hopefully you guys all had a lovely Christmas and a nice holiday. We had a great Christmas and a nice holiday, so
He had done a lot of stuff that day, Adam. He had a lot of intake. Trust me, it was a busy day on his fucking liver and kidneys, on top of all the other shit.
a little bit of time off. I had my sister up here visiting, my baby sister, and we went to my other sister's house and, did the family thing, and, it was really nice. So, anyway, took a little bit of time off, but I'm back, and we will pick up where I last left off. So, it was the last time I saw Ryan alive, so I'm going to get into what happened basically when he got to the methadone clinic, and how I pretty much found out what happened of his passing. So anyway, let's just get into it. As you know, my time's limited. So pretty much at this point, Ryan, left our house in a Lyft and was going to the methadone clinic to dose. And he still was on a really high dosage. I want to say, well, he told me it was at 170 at this point. I think the highest he got was 190. Again, I could not get a straight answer from him. He was supposed to be tapering down, so he could get
All right, so there's that. Hang on.
into treatment and detox. That was the plan, but honestly, I don't know if that was really happening because, you know, I would always get a different answer from him. Okay, well, what are you at now? Oh, 150. Okay, what are you at now? 170. And it's like, wait, I thought you were 150 last week, you know, and he'd be like, oh, yeah, you know, so it's like, I don't know. I don't think he was.
So off the screen, not in the fake internet world, they had an agreement they reached together and said, hey, baby, do you mind coming down some doses, at least for me, at least for yourself, you know? And he was like, yeah. But he was being untruthful to Karina, too. He was bullshitting her about how much on his methadone he was taking. If you all know Ryan like I feel like I know him, he had the most bomb methadone dose. So he was already sick with some kind of illness that came over him. This is probably the prelude to what killed him, but being that bazonk fucked out on drugs systematically for days on end that hard cannot be good for it anyway. So, I mean, there was still that. I don't blame her for being mad, honestly, man.
Being honest about it.
Maybe that's what they were fighting about weeks prior to him dying. Because she said they wasn't on good terms. Maybe it was over this shit. Maybe he was getting harder and heavier, and enough was enough, and she tried to say something, do something, but he did what the fuck he was going to do anyway. So, shit.
And I'd hear him talking to friends, and, you know, they'd be like, what are you on? And he would be like, 190. And I'm like, okay, why does it keep changing? I don't think you're being honest. And he'd always give me some bullshit excuse. So, whatever. Anyway, he was just on a really high dose, and he was going there to go do his dose and tell them that he needed them to call an ambulance for him. So, you know, we were just communicating through text messages at this point because I guess it was just too hard for him to talk on the phone. And, you know, Ryan always wanted to talk on the phone, wanted to know what was going on and, you know, see what me and the kids were up to, basically keep tabs on me. And it was very unlike him to call. So it was, you know, odd. And I'm like, what's going on with you? And it just, he said it was too hard for him to talk. So he just wanted to text. And I said, okay. So pretty much, he told me he was at the methadone clinic.
Yeah, because it fucking killed him.
He told them he was having trouble breathing. And they took him outside to get.
I forecasted it was like this. Ryan, you've been noticeably sick for the last 3 days. What you been doing? Oh, the usual. Well, hey, until you feel better, do you think you can kind of cut back and just relax, ease back, at least till you heal up? I got this. I'm fine. Don't tell me what to do. I know me. And then when the motherfucker's in and out of hospitals for days on end, this goes on for weeks, and his health's declining worse and worse. You still won't listen to me, motherfucker. I love you, I care about you, and you care about getting high so much more that, motherfucker, you know it's killing you. You're still picking this over me. That's what the grieving widows of these addicts have to deal with. And it's like, it's
get
shit.
Air, and he told them to call an ambulance. And that's what they did. They called an ambulance.
Yeah, that's right, DG.
And, you know, they were all really worried about him. And he, you know, I guess waited for the ambulance for about maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then they took him to the hospital in Sun Valley.
What a last day on earth, guys. I mean, come on now. Have some dignity about yourself.
So at this point, we were just, you know, texting here and there, but not too much. And I will upload those text messages on Patreon. And also, I believe he took some pictures of himself in the ambulance. You know, typical Ryan. So I'll look for those and upload those soon. Hopefully by the end of the week, maybe the weekend. But I'll definitely do that.
Yeah, D-Saw just pointed something out. Really high doses of methadone can actually, like, have some kind of effect on your breathing.
Anyway, so he, you know, was just same old, saying how they were treating him like crap, the paramedics, you know, because he's an addict, and talking down to him. And same thing when he got to the ER, you know, just complaining and bitching about how they treated him poorly because
Okay. I take that back. Now I see why he got banned from Uber and Lyft. He gets mouthy and... Do you know who the hell I am? I am Ryan Leone.
How he looked and being an addict.
Right.
So, anyway, I was just
He's such a
speaking with him,
celebrity.
Please just stay, get full care. We need to know.
Look, Ryan is such a celebrity. His celebritydom killed him. Oh, shit.
A little bit of time off, but I'm back. This and that. And there was, I think, finally around like maybe 7 or 8. I'll have to look at the text messages or I'll upload them and you'll see. He told
shit,
me,
I
I was
felt
like,
right
don't
there.
say that. That's not going to happen. I honestly did not believe. Scary, you know. I need those soon. Hopefully by the end of the week, maybe the weekend. But I'll definitely do that. Anyway, so he, you know, was just same old, saying how they were treating him like crap, the paramedics, you know, because he's an addict, and talking down to him. And same thing when he got to the ER, you know, just complaining and bitching about how they treated him poorly because of how he looked and being an addict. So anyway, I was just pleading with him at this point, please just stay, get full care. We need to know what's going on with you because it's progressing. It's getting worse to the point where, like, I mean, it's really scary, you know? I need you to live. I need you to fight for your life, to be here for our children. And, you know.
And somehow these words still don't matter to a person.
He wanted to do that too. You know, he said he would be really, pissed off if he died. I remember he told me this a week before it happened.
I thought that was funny when I heard it. I'm gonna be really pissed off if I die.
And you know,
would too.
I would be like, don't say that. That's not going to happen. I honestly did not believe that was going to happen. Ryan survived so much at this point. He was such a survivor. And I truly felt in my heart that he was going to have this huge comeback. He was going to sober up, and that was going to be like the last time. We both felt that way. But then he just kind of started saying, like, he felt like something bad was going to happen. And he felt like he was dying, you know? But anyway, so I didn't feel that way. I really thought he would beat this and come back stronger than ever. So anyway, so I guess he got to the ER, and you know, he was just texting me and telling me he was just sitting there and reading and waiting, and they weren't checking in on him, and he was starving and this and that, and there was some weirdo, you know, transient in the room with him yelling at him and, you know, just complaining about whatever. And eventually, I think, you know, I wasn't really hearing much from him.
Yeah, the great comeback. I was just thinking, man, like, who needs that kind of drama in the middle of, like, what you got going on? He was just starting to get out there with these screenplays. He's got documentaries and shit that he's worked his ass off that took years to put together, and they're finally fixing to be done. The addiction still, man, I think it affected his health overall. I mean,
or getting a response, and I was just, you know, wondering, and I think finally around, like, maybe 7 or 8, I'll have to look at the text messages.
I think the constant use of it, just having to do it, it took a toll on his body, and this is the shit that it leads up to, guys, you know.
Or I'll upload them, and you'll see. He told me they finally took his vitals and did blood work.
But he did mix a whole lot of shit under some bad terms anyway.
And his blood was so messed up that they couldn't they didn't know what was going on with him, that they had to do an MRI at this point because they were worried. Again, we still haven't gotten the autopsy, so we don't know the exact cause of death yet. I think the latest is February. I'm probably gonna have a phone call with Frank at the end of this week or early next week, or maybe the weekend. But we are overdue for a phone call. We're just kind of letting the holidays go by. We've talked through text, but we'll have a phone call soon, and I'll get an update on that too. So they had to do an MRI, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? And he said, well, from what they're seeing, they think I may have blood clots in my lungs. And it's like, holy, you know, that's pretty serious. Like,
oh yeah.
What? You know? Oh my God. And he's like, yeah. So we're gonna do an MRI soon. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. But then he was starting to complain about wanting to leave. I'm like, no, you can't leave. We need to know what's going on with you. Like, sounds pretty hardcore. He agreed. So he was going to tough it out and stay there. You know, then more time passed. And I think at that point, it was probably after, I mean, Wyland fell asleep probably around like shortly after that, maybe like 8:30. And then Nico and I were, were in the living room with Cubby and watching the news, and we both fell asleep on the couch, and I jumped up off the couch and I didn't know what time it was, and I, immediately checked my phone, and I don't have any messages from him, so I'm like, what is going on? And it was like 10:45. And Nico's passed out, so, I call Ryan and I don't get an answer. And then I text like, hey, sorry I fell asleep, but I'm up right now. I'm going to tuck Nico in, and what's going on, At this point, he'd been in and out of ERs all week, and, it was the usual where he would be there for hours, and, I would either have to get him a lift home or let one of his friends know to come and get him, pick him up at the hospital. So I was wondering if he was going to need a ride soon, or is he going to stay overnight, because, that happened a couple times too. And the last text I ever...
It sounds to me as much as Ryan went in and out of the hospital weeks and days prior to that so much, wouldn't you have just admitted yourself and like told the docs, hey, you need to check me out, man, there's an underlying issue, like, or else why would you leave unless that was your own personal choice? I would have stayed if I would have known it was going to be something I had to stay for. Maybe it could have helped him a chance to live.
Got from him alive was it just said they shot me up with a gnarly benzo.
So there was that.
And I was half asleep. It didn't even click.
Okay, so let's take a count. He did his normal methadone shot earlier in the morning. As soon as he opened his eyes, literally, he got it done first. That was part of his plan for the day. There's no telling what he did in between the time after that methadone dose, leading up to when he got the ride to the hospital. Now we end up in the hospital.
Click to think, well, why would they even do that? Don't they know your history? Don't they know what you're on? Like, none of this really clicked until later. And I processed all of this, and I'm still processing.
So it's like he had the nurses in them. He convinced them to shoot him up with some kind of benzo to make him feel better, I guess. Maybe he thought maybe it would make him feel better, but maybe he was getting irate, making a scene, and demanded it. And to calm him down, they went ahead and gave it to him. But he wasn't being honest with what all he did, though, because I'm sure they asked him medically, okay, before we administer this to you, is there anything you've been doing today, yesterday, anytime recently? We need to know now, And he probably totally left that part out.
All of this, and it's probably gonna be some time. But that was the last thing he texted me. They just shot me up with a gnarly benzo. And I was like, well, are you all right? Like, what's going on? And, I said, okay, well, please let me know what's going on. I was not getting a response from him. So I'm like, okay, he's probably just passed out now, because he was doing that a lot too, where he would be so loaded. He'd pass out and I wouldn't hear from him, and then he'd text me or call me when he woke up. So this was kind of still the norm at this point, where I was like, okay, he probably just passed out. I guess I'm going to go to bed. So that's what I did. I went to bed probably close to midnight, and I am woken up at like 3:03 or something like that. And, Wyland's crying. He needs his bottle. So that's what woke me up. So I immediately go make, his bottle and change him and feed him and do all that stuff. And then I check my phone, like, oh my gosh, what if he's been calling or texting and needs a lift home or whatever. I did have missed calls, text messages from him. But I had a missed call from an 818 number. And immediately you just start feeling like something's up. Especially then there was a text message from him. It was his phone, but it wasn't like the way he talked to me. It wasn't his verbiage. And I thought it was weird. It said, call Pacifica Hospital right now.
Right now.
And it was probably like half hour before I woke up. And I'm like, oh my God, I rip the covers off and I jump out of bed so I don't wake up the kids, because they're both, Nico's sleeping next to me and Wyland's in his crib. So I jump out of bed and I go rush into the living room, and I'm on my phone and I'm calling him. He's not answering. I call again. He's not answering. I text and I say, hey, what's going on? I have a missed call from the hospital. I'm about to call them, but are you okay? I'm like freaking out, and there's like no response. So I call the 818 number and, they answer. I'm like, hi, I have a missed call from you guys. My fiance is in the ER and, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? And, it was like the female nurse or something. And she was like, yes, hold on a moment. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? I'm like freaking out. And I'm on hold seriously for like 30 seconds, but it feels like 30 years. And it just takes forever. And then finally, like, the head ER male nurse answers, and he's like, you need to come to the hospital right now. I'm like, what? What's going on? Like, why aren't you guys telling me anything? And he's like, you need to come right now. And I'm like, I like jump off the couch, and literally in this tone and everything, I say, wait, what's going on? Is he like dying? Like, tell me what's going on. And they're like, just please come now. And I'm like, okay, I'm on my way. So I hang up. I had a missed call also from Frank at this point, which was weird to have a missed call from him at like 3 a.m. But anyway, I didn't have my driver's license at this point, but luckily Ryan left the car and the keys. If he hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't have been able to go to the hospital. I don't think that would have happened. But it happened that way. So anyway, I'm like, okay, well, now I have to get the kids up. I have to get it's not like I could just run out the kids, obviously. So I'm literally hyperventilating. I remember myself like finding trouble to breathe. And I couldn't breathe. I was freaking out. I don't know if anyone's ever been in that, not the same situation, but where you're just so scared and anxious where you start hyperventilating. And I was doing that, but I was like trying to calm myself down so I wouldn't freak the kids out. And I, get myself dressed because I was in my pajamas, and I throw on pretty much anything. And then I pack Wyland's diaper bag, have that ready. And I'm like, okay, I'm loading things into the car. I'm like, slowly, I just take Wyland in his pajamas, and I bring his car seat in, and I quietly like put him in there and try not to wake him up. And Nico, I change his clothes, and he wasn't wearing pants. He was just like in his underwear. So I put pants on him, and I'm trying not to wake them up and carry them to the car, which I do, but eventually they start to wake up on the drive there. And at this point, it's getting closer. It's probably like 3:40. And I am like, my mind's spinning. And, I put the hospital in the GPS, and says it's about 18 minutes away. I'm like, oh my God, why can't it just be right here? And so anyway, I driving to the hospital, and I call Frank back at this point, and he answers, and he's like, well, are you at the hospital? Have you been there? I'm like, not yet. I'm on my way, and I'm freaking out. Like, have they talked to you? And he's like, just call me after the hospital. Call me back. And I said, okay. He wasn't really saying much either. So I'm driving, and I just remember every stoplight seriously felt like forever. And I remember praying to God and asking him, please don't take him from me yet. Don't take him from my babies. Don't do that. And, honestly, before I got to the hospital, I you know, I thought, I mean, I knew in the back of my mind that was a possibility. But I wasn't expecting it. I was like in denial still at this point, and I just was like thinking they were gonna tell me. I was hoping, as horrible as it sounds, that, you know, I didn't want to hear he passed. I was like, okay, maybe he's just like in a coma, and, you know, he's not responding. Like that's it. He's gonna be okay. So anyway, I pull up to the ER, and at this point, both boys are awake, and Nico's like, "Why are we here? What's going on?" And just explaining to him, "Oh, you know, we're just at the hospital. We're gonna see if Daddy's okay, because he, you know, we just kept saying Daddy's sick." And walk into the hospital, you know, and I walk in holding Wylan in his car seat, holding Nico's hand in the other, and everyone just turns and looks at me. I already sense like something's not right, you know. It's just like, God damn it. And people are like bowing their heads, looking like they can't look me in my face. They're looking down, and it's just like, God, what is going on? And, you know, they're like, this is, you know, I talked to like the security guard at the front, and he's like, you know, tell him who I am and what happened. And he's like, okay, hold on just a moment. And they like, you know, go and get the head ER nurse and the doctor, and they pretty much tell me, okay, can you come into this room? They put me like in that little room, and I'm with the kids, and immediately the female nurse, some older Hispanic lady, looks at Nico and Wylan. She like starts tearing up and crying. She's like, oh my God, he looks just like him. And, you know, starts like tearing up. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, you guys need to tell me. And I'm looking at them, and, you know, I have to be careful what I tell you guys, because there's more to this story after what happened to him after he passed away. And we might pursue legal action. So I can't
That's the part that reminded me earlier about there's some things she can't disclose that she said with some of them nurses or whatever.
even get into what happened after this part till we figure out what's going on. So I have to be careful about what I say here. But pretty much they tell me, you know, well, as you know, Ryan came to our, no, I don't even think he said, I said, well, Ryan came to our ER today. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, we've been talking. And he's like, he wasn't honest with us. I'm like, well, what do you mean he wasn't honest with you? He wasn't honest about using drugs. And I'm like, okay.
I guess she figured Ryan would have admitted to the physicians, you know. I mean, that's kind of a serious thing you're going through at the moment. I would tell the doctor everything that I had in me at the moment.
Okay.
You think they might have accidentally killed Ryan out of malpractice because he wasn't honest about shit he did, you know?
I'm like, well, I mean, didn't you ask him?
Like maybe some of the drugs they tried to administer had an effect also that led to his untimely demise. I mean,
Questions, because I'd gone to
you can't talk about it.
2 different ERs with him that week, and it was so obvious, like, he did not look sober or healthy. And if you're in the medical field, I feel like you would kind of pick up on that. I don't know. So it was just seemed like BS to me. Especially since the ER the day before that I was at with him, you know, the nurse was taking his vitals and he was talking about, I forget what, being in pain or something. And she's like, oh, no, we're not giving you pain meds, she said. And he was like, no, I'm not trying to get pain meds from you. And she's like, yeah, you know. So she just took one look at him and knew what was up. And anyway, so that just seemed like bullshit to me, but whatever. And, you know, they kept going into, you know, and then we gave him a shot, because he was acting so erratic in our ER. We had to calm him down. So we shot him up with a benzo, and because he was pacing around and he, you know, didn't want to stay, and he ripped out his IV, which he did.
Yeah.
In his phone.
Somebody else earlier said about that.
There are, and he did this at another ER I think like a couple days before that, so I believe that. But then later on in his phone, I saw there.
You do know what I'm saying, though, right, EG? He says it's not malpractice if he lied. If they acted appropriately based on the information they had, they did the right thing. Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, back to that whole doctor-patient disclosure. I mean, if I was a doctor, I'd be like, you better be honest with me right here, right now, because what I'm about to give you could have some alter effect that would kill you. I'm sure he warned Ryan as a patient, but I'm sure that drug mule in Ryan somewhere said, no, man, I can handle it. Been through a lot.
There is a picture. It's the last one he took when he was alive.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And it's like a flickering light you see in the background, and it's like of the floor of the.
And I'm sure it's like medically approved. Like, you probably have to admit that you currently go to a methadone clinic when you're filling out that ER entry sheet. You know what I mean? Has all your information. Why are you here today? Well, this is how I'm feeling, and take what you will. Let's get to work. Them doctors got to do blood tests, piss tests. Like she even said, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with his ass. So they put him in an MRI. Isn't that one of them big bad machines that does like a full body, skull, body, head X-ray? Like, I don't know. It's really expensive to run, I'm sure, and you better have a serious problem to have to use it. But I think they can get to the root and so like seeing inside of you. You know what I mean? But they had told him he had some lung problems. That was back to when he was saying he had trouble breathing. He was breathing, but it's like he wasn't getting oxygen flow and delivery from it. So he was out of the normal of like you all and me walking around, breathing normal. He had probably some added pressure that day. You know what I mean? Like he could tell like his brain, everything was just lagging because of the decrease in blood flow, you know. So he was feeling it, dude, in them last days.
ER. And there's blood splattered everywhere.
Yeah.
So must have been where he ripped out his IV. And they pretty much told me they were just trying to calm him down. And they kind of calmed him down because, he wanted to leave. He was going to leave. And they're like, you need to stay. So they convinced him to stay, but he said he needed to go to the bathroom. And he went into the bathroom with his backpack.
Yeah.
And then when he came out, that he was...
You don't think those doctors that took his blood test later that day, hours after he got that fresh dose of methadone, that shit did not show up on the test? Oh, Mr. Leone, it looks like you had 190 milligrams of methadone approximately 4 or 6 hours ago. You wasn't going to tell us about that, were you? You knew we'd see that. You should have just admitted it anyway, but... I mean, I just think it damaged his body, dude. All the years of trauma to it.
Was acting crazy.
Because those are some serious chemicals, Suboxones. I heard Suboxones make you lose your teeth. Methadone, it's got to be bad on your kidneys. And if opioids give you breathing problems anyway, shit, man. Hell no.
And he was being erratic. And that he just stopped. I said, what do you mean he just stopped?
Yeah.
And he's like, he went into cardiac arrest. And I just like started.
What do you mean he just stopped? He went into cardiac arrest. Does that mean Ryan was like standing up pacing, acting a fool, and all of a sudden he just went and just fell out flat on the floor? And then they consummated to get him on a gurney and doing the CPR and all that? Because that's what they're making it sound like. He just dropped dead of a heart attack right there in the waiting room.
Start crying.
But they were like, we gave him that shot of the benzos to help him, supposedly, and after some time, he went into the bathroom with that backpack, came out some time later, and then he was acting irate again. And after we tried to calm him down again, he fucking just stopped. What is that indicative of?
And I'm like, well, he's gone? He passed away? Yeah. Crazy. And he was being erratic. And that he just stopped. Must have been where he ripped out his IV. And they pretty much told me they were just trying to calm him down. And they kind of calmed him down because, he wanted to leave. He was going to leave. And they're like, you need to stay. So they convinced him to stay, but he said he needed to go to the bathroom. And he went into the bathroom with his backpack. And then when he came out, that he was acting crazy. And he was being erratic. And that he just stopped. I said, what do you mean he just stopped? And he's like, he went into cardiac arrest. And I just like start crying. I'm like, well, he's gone? He passed away? And they all look at me and say yes. And it just felt so shocking. Like, I didn't believe it. I could not believe that he was gone. It just felt like I was at like an out-of-body experience. I didn't even feel like myself.
Yeah, back to what I was saying about them rumors earlier. There was some people, there was a handful of y'all out there that said he went into the bathroom in the hospital. He was in the hospital feeling like shit, and then he went to a bathroom, did some drugs, and then died shortly after. When I heard that, I thought it was for real, but then later dispelled it and said that's just a rumor of somebody just putting out false information to be a dick or something. But no, it's all making sense now. All the shit's having to catch up over time in these videos they're explaining.
It was just very bizarre. I can't really describe it.
So Ryan did. He was in the hospital. We didn't know that he dosed at the clinic earlier that day. We didn't know that he already had drugs with him. Like Karina even said back there, she knew he was leaving the house with that backpack, and there was no telling what kind of drugs was in it. So she was probably just tired of fighting, begging, pleading that motherfucker. Hey, can you just do the right thing and get on that track? You say you're trying to get well. Can you go ahead and start that process? It's getting worse, Ryan. You said you'd stop already. You haven't even stopped, and in fact, you're getting worse. Like, enough's enough, man. I love you. I don't want you to die, man. I'm your fucking... We got kids together, you know? So I could see them fighting over that because, I mean, and it's like, you, as an addict, you fight so hard and it's still, ugh. The addiction gets what it wants. This is your life. It claims your life. But your family and your loved ones, they miss out forever. That's a shitty way to go out, man.
So they, you know, I said, well, did you guys Narcan him? Did you guys, like, what did you do? Like, what happened, you know? And they tell me we tried to I can't say this word, resuscitate him for an hour. And we just could not get him back. And I was like, oh my God. And I just, you know, I like can't believe it. And I have both kids there with me, which was so messed up. It's not the way I wanted this.
Is that how you want to leave your loved one? She finds out you're dead in the hospital over something related to drug usage, and she's dragging your babies in tow. Like,
to go down. I didn't want them there with me. And like, they don't know what's going on. It must be so weird and scary and confusing. And then they see me crying. Like, it was just, and then I have to hold back crying. So I can't even cry and freak out properly. I had to hold it in for them. And they pretty much, you know, say, okay, like, do you want to go see him? And it's like, well, yeah, but I have my kids with me. How am I going to do this? You know? And okay, we'll watch your kids while you go look. And basically, I think they wanted me to identify him. I don't know. It was weird.
Ain't this fucked? Earlier that day, he walks out the door to go to the hospital. Later on that night, you're showing up to identify the body. Prepare for funeral arrangements.
And they walk me back to where he was. And, you know, it's like a white curtain. And, you know, they pull the curtain back and I go around and I see like the bottom of his feet. And I know it's him because he had really dry, cracked feet at this point. And I knew it was him. And
okay, let me see. I think that was it, pretty much, yeah. All right, so you all still with me? Yeah, we all still together. All right, well, I mean, shit. We went over the Leah stuff about Luke G. We happened to go over the Ryan stuff, which I was waiting to watch with y'all. We have a face in the crowd. They said they've been watching. I feel like I might have seen that name some time ago. Mr. Gore, Mr. Al Gore, if you're still around, can we go ahead and debut some of your videos? You have something along the lines of Finnabutt. You know, Mars used to use that stuff, guys. Y'all remember that? Gabapentin. Yeah. Okay. Let's check some of these out, man. I've never seen a video about stuff like this before. Hang on, guys.
Was on the wall with lift mode. After years of them producing and selling Phenibut and all Phenibut products, whether it be HCl, fine crystals, large crystals, capsules, FAA, they pretty much got the world hooked on Phenibut, and now they pulled the rug out from under everyone. Those of us who had been buying from them could see the writing on the wall before they put out the little letter they sent everyone, kindly informing them that this substance that you've been hooked on, no more. We are no longer going to be selling Phenibut products. However,
What'd you say, D-Saw? You said, is that Mars? No. Trust me, I know Mars's voice. That is not no damn Mars, okay? Let's see.
they pulled the most money-hungry cash grab maneuver they could have. Before they discontinued it, they refused to sell any amounts larger than 40 grams of either of them,
Oh, wow. Wow.
making the customer pay 3 times what they would if they would have bought in bulk. This was their number one cash cow, and now I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go out of business. Let's just be honest, the most of us would only go to lift mode for Phenibut. Most people are not interested in their so-called nootropics that pretty much have no effect for the most part. Phenibut, however,
Trust me, that is not Mars, guys.
is something in a world of its own, and it deserves its own slot in the substance world. It deserves its own place when it comes to taking substances. I'll make more videos describing my experiences with Phenibut and how I almost ruined my life because of it, and how you feel as if you can never be normal again. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'll touch base with y'all again.
All right, very well. Mr. Al Gore, I have to say, that's what I like to see. I like to see very straightforward, thorough, like you're showing me the product and you're telling me what I need to hear. That's very important. Thank you so much. I went ahead and gave you a sub. Guys, if anybody's interested in that sector of the community, of the drugstore community, Luke GTV, he used to carry on and talk about the chemicals. And I'm telling you, Luke was a fucking undercover physician. I'm telling you guys, he could tell you chemicals A through E, Z, and there on beyond. Guys, I'm hoping this guy has that same kind of energy. The drugstore community could use a fresh breath of fresh air, if you know what I mean, especially after what's been going on. Yeah. And the irony, Mars used to talk about Phenibut. He did. I think he did that stuff back in the day, guys. Remember? I'm liking the content. I think you all, if you want to, just tune in, see if he comes back by. Thanks for stopping by, Mr. Gore. Thank you all. Man, it was ladies' night, wasn't it? My bad, guys. I didn't make it ladies' night. It was, we had Leah and Karina pouring their hearts out. That sucks. I want to say RIP and happy holidays. I hope you all had a thank you. A thank you. Thank you for me having to have a happy thank you day. No, happy Thanksgiving, guys. I hope you all had a good one. We got Christmas coming up. We got Christmas. 'Tis the reason for the season, right? So we're going to get our shopping on. We got to grind. We got 2024 around the corner. Are y'all prepared for a new year? We got my birthday a little bit after that. And guys, I don't know. What is there to behold in 2024? Is it voting season yet? Okay. We've been going long and hard for almost 2 hours, guys. Thanks for the crowd. Any replay reviews? Give a thumbs up if you want. Thank you for Brian. Mr. Brian showed up, man. That was cool. I guess we were having difficult technicalities along the way, but thanks for everybody stopping by, man. Y'all be careful. It's good to see y'all's faces around here, okay? Be safe out there. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? Be safe, okay? Okay, you heard it here first. I was the last one to speak to any of you. That's what I'm going to be doing on my fucking soapbox if any of y'all kick the bucket. So to avoid that, make sure I don't have to do it. You need to survive. Alright, guys. We had a wacky day. It's back to the work week. I will check in with y'all eventually. Good luck to the ladies on the panel tonight. Tomorrow's a new day. Alright, happy December. I love you all. Peace.